There has been a nuclear accident in the Soviet Union, and the Soviets have admitted that it happened. The Soviet version is this.
От Совета министров СССР. На Чернобыльской атомной электростанции произошла авария. Поврежден один из атомных реакторов.
My name is Piotr and I live in Oblast 23. A place you will never hear of. Some place somewhere else. I'm sorry, I'm just not supposed to say. Buried in one of Mother Russia's most beautiful forests of beautiful butterfly and moth-laden gardens, beyond waterfalls and the camouflaged barricades of our great red god, there is the secret nuclear power plant and our proud town, the people's future, with our own crest and our motto, Luce жизни через жизни, better living through chemistry, which we strive to live by, albeit very secretly. It is a shame that we are a secret. We have such a beautiful town. The pride of our town is our theater. Many a great and sophisticated play has been performed for our small community audience, performed by the members of the community, of course. Our university is surely one of the best in the world. Teaches even the youngest children here. Our library, it's also beautiful, surrounded in windows, and the book collection is extensive and diverse, with the greatest Soviet literature, and in it the world as well. We have our own ski lift, we have a Ferris wheel, and our own nuclear-powered rail-track roller coaster. A recent present for the completion of a recent project. All my life, my parents and I would go to the park as often as several times a week. My mother would hold my hand and father would get us a cotton candy. But even if my parents were too busy to take me to the park or to ski the mountain, every day we walked our beautiful dog, Bokos, to the river or the lake through the safe zone forests. To spend some time together. Mother and father are professors. Every day they learn as much as they teach and are always researching for a new mysterious project. They are progressing the state of nuclear science for humanity. Soviet Union, yes, but also the world. Communism and humanity. We live in our own cottage and I even have my own room. Both of my parents have cars, their very own cars, to drive down the street from our wooden neighborhood and to park in front of the university while they are furthering humanity together. Mother driving a few hundred meters in Russia's nicest nylons and plastic sunglasses, rare clothes of finest wool and cotton and even silkworms, clothes and underclothes sent in tins. I surely suspect that not every Soviet had these same tins, each according to the needs, I wonder. My friend Alexander's parents are pioneering genetics, studying radiation effects on biology, also for the advancement of humanity. Alexei's father is a painter and botanist, and his mother is a pioneer chemist and an excellent cook. His entire family is musically talented and play a beautiful trio together. His father plays the horn, his mother the cello. Alexei plays the violin, both elegantly and fiercely, and he is very obedient and respectful. His family does not have a car, instead they use bicycles. And like myself, the state expects great things from Alexei with all the resources that we have been spared, given the finest in the Union. Alexander is very brilliant, very creative, also very timid. He looks to the ground, he does not talk back. We are entirely different, Alexei and I. His family lives in a nicely furnished apartment, nearly the size of our cottage, just in town next to the park, grocer and the cafe. Everything comes to us in tins. Fish, meat, eggs, even milk and vegetables, shirts, shoes, trousers, our water, our vodka and herbs. Yes, we have tins of the finest herbs, and not just tobacco, although it is available to the older, more voluptuary members of our community, still infatuated with Americanisms. Western amenities are available, though we quietly judge each other for them. We have a variety of our own native herbs and incense that mother and father burn at night by fire to soothe their nerves. My father once told me, "Peter, in life you must learn when to not speak, when to know better, and when to know better than to know better." I always wondered what he meant by that. A shouting match between the school administrator and mother and father ensued after I was put in a dark closet for detention for several hours. I was taken home, I was never put in a detention again, instead often let outside. My mother and father did not take me walking for several weeks. Apparently they had special agreements for the procurement of a flute, a very beautiful silver flute that came in a tin. Immediately I began playing the flute all day and all night. I have a condition called insomnia, which makes sleep often impossible, so I would walk through the town at night practicing my flute until I got in trouble for breaking residence curfew, so I began sneaking into the forest at night and playing safe in the dark shade of the woods. My psychiatrist, for God's sake, I know that I'm privileged. He prescribed me this new medication in a tin. The interesting thing about this new medication is that if I take one capsule, I immediately feel better for days. And if I take 2 capsules, I feel even better. And if I take 3, I'm every man, woman and child, every blade of grass and drop of blood in the Soviet Union, in the world, all of our love and fear and vulnerability and everything we are as children, pure and righteous children of God. Obviously these tins helped me with my suicidal tendencies, but my insomnia persisted and I would walk all day and night through the woods, just loving nature with the animals and the spirits of our great and noble forest. In a nuclear town like ours, they may let certain things slide, but through the community I was thought of as troubled and dark. Some in the town sincerely thought that I was a witch. And so my mother and father were even ridiculed at their work for me, which I felt terrible for, but what could I do? I knew that I was an experiment, that my life was an experiment, that my family's town could be a gulag for all the Union of Soviet Socialists could care. Work shall set us free. Who's to say we would not have benefited from that? They say that work's medicine. Or well, God says that. Well, I began to think I couldn't eat anything out of a tin anymore, much to the dismay of my parents and their house full of tins. My DP5A actually belongs to the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. One day when my parents were able to take me to their work, I found the beautiful polished wooden box sitting in disrepair. My father lifted his eyebrow at my mother when she snuck it home in her car, but she eventually persuaded him to help us fix it, and within a few weeks we were able to meter particles, albeit discreetly. Something interesting about our town is that we have a slight level of radiation, nothing to worry about exactly, on average about like 112 microsieverts per hour. We're often not allowed out during rain or snow, but that's it. I began to take my medication and some seeds that I would find in the forest and mostly in the rotted excitement of tins, and I would bury them with a prayer, and then majestic Mother Nature, she would grow trees bearing natural free fruits from God, which obviously did not sit well with our Red Watchmen, who could not for the life of them see how I was serving communism by growing trees. How little they knew. The lively gifts from the earth changed me and elated my soul, body and mind. The taste was nothing like what I've had before, in a tin, and I could never go back. Alexei knows all about this. He's much smarter than me, and I just know it. He is so gifted. But Mick, serving his parents and the state, not interested in teens either. He had this medication too, but had never experimented with more than the recommended dose. But I got it in my head that I could find the tree that my medication was from, and I could grow it from seeds in our forest, and I could cut the tin out of the picture once and forever. That tin which was introduced to us by Americans, let us not forget, with their tanks and their stars, white with surrender. But with surrender they gave to us their tins, giving us all salted bacon, and an obsession with war and nuclear fission, and secrets like my life and my parents and Alex. Across the great union, their sins and transgressions lie in the tins. I remember distinctly as I left this morning my parents loving me, trying to help me. They were saying they can't always be there for me, and that there's just so many strings they will pull for me, only so many strings they even can pull for me. I think they know, as they say, that I'm not afraid of death, and I'm not afraid to serve Mother Russia or communism or humanity or God. If I was sent out from our nuclear Ferris wheel to a real camp where I had to make steel, something useful, and Mother wouldn't be bothering feeding me, I would indeed be useful. When I saw the wolf, I immediately interpreted her snarling as anger, as her own vulnerability. She's a tremendous and beautiful thing, bigger than a bear, a great Siberian wolf with all the magic of the mother in every hair on her head. She had been hurt, betrayed by men, killing her brothers and her lovers and children. I felt all of her hurt and pain. This beautiful wolf, as the moths whirled around in the cold of the moon. I fell to my knees and embraced her, and she embraced me, and we cried and loved each other and hurt for all that man has done. I tried to apologize as much as I could, and I just hugged her, crying with her for hours. This wolf made me a man, made love to me, nurtured my soul, and breathed fire into me. I felt a little betrayed when she killed me, but honored. I hardly believed the blood when I saw it upon me. She mauled me apart on more of my medication than I should have had for a month. But they say the only thing as pleasant as drowning is being eaten by a wild animal. I felt so valuable to her and the mother and all of fucking Russia. You have no idea how valuable. And I feel so bad for my mother and father, who did everything they could to stop me from doing this to myself, and for Alex, who never appreciated all he did just to please his parents, even though he never understood why they loved it. But mostly I feel bad for her, my beautiful lover, my wolf, whom they shot and burned and surely did not make tins of for killing their golden boy. And I knew after that they really feared this witch who grew things, and they thought it was interesting, and they wanted the experiment to continue. They thought I was benefiting Russia and humanity still by existing. But what was I benefiting? Wars and tins? No.
And there is speculation in Moscow that people were injured and may have died.